When talking about the kings of the jungle, lions are always enshrined as the greatest conquerors of the animal kingdom. They are the perfect killing machines, bloodthirsty and ferocious beasts that dominate the wild world. However, little is said about their brothers and cousins in the Felidae family, a group of terrifying animals that includes tigers, leopards, jaguars, and, of course, panthers. Out of all of them, black panthers are one of the most bizarre and deadly species. Their speed, strength, and killer instinct can often rival that of lions, and their stealth is just as dangerous as their claws and teeth. Currently, most of these creatures are kept in supervised and well-controlled areas to avoid indiscriminate hunting and prevent any contact or accidents with humans. However, in recent times, an anomalous fact that researchers are unable to explain has begun to be recorded. It's related to 3 terrifying panther species that have appeared in unusual habitats, ready to tear apart anything that crosses their path. And if you stay with us, you'll meet them too. Number 3. The Shadow Panther. In New Zealand, there are many species of animals, some wilder than others, but there isn't a single panther. At least, that's what the authorities know. However, very curious reports are being made every year in the most forested towns of the country. These are a series of very unusual events. Witnesses claim to have seen a creature as stealthy as a shadow, dark as the wings of a crow, and up to 3 meters long. They call it the Shadow Panther because of its color and its ease of sneaking up to its prey, which usually are birds, dogs, cats, and sometimes humans, although fortunately, it has never managed to catch its bigger victims. However, the creature has definitely tried on several occasions. Those who have managed to see it describe it as a wild figure that advances through the night like a specter, a solid body that seems to be invisible at the same time, as if it were a ghost, but so real that it has attacked its inhabitants. Curiously, since the reports began, the old flocks of forest birds have disappeared. Many hikers have found pieces of decomposing carcasses of all kinds of birds, as well as a myriad of broken branches on trees up to 40 meters as solid as concrete. Is this a coincidence? Does this panther really exist? Researchers suggest that 1 or more felines have been actively hunting in the area. They also prefer to ignore the testimonies and consider them as only rumors. Even so, the locals continue to support their hypotheses, and not a year goes by without a report of this type. Number 2. The Panthers of Ohio. Many strange things happen in Ohio, but one recorded in Dayton surpasses all of them. In early 2010, an unusual occurrence was reported. 3 witnesses claimed to have seen a dark, strong, and terrifying beast prowling around and walking on all fours. The authorities tried to control the panic that the rumors had caused, but new reports appeared immediately. During that time, a citizen managed to gain access to the city's old documentation and realized that these unusual creatures weren't new. Since 1900, a series of strange apparitions of a creature twice the size of a conventional panther had been reported, with a thick, totally black skin and a tail so long that it seemed to protrude from 2 places at the same time. Its roar was fierce, and it used to take refuge in the highest areas of the forests, just in the perfect position to spot any villager wandering through the forest. Because of this situation, many zoos tried to capture the mysterious creature, but their efforts were futile. Everyone knew the allegations were absurd. A panther prowling around Dayton? That was absurd. But the testimonies in all the calls were similar, matched the description of the beast, and the closer they seemed to capture it, the more reports were recorded. Eventually, the authorities dropped the case, but even today there are still those who wonder what the beast was and whether it will still lurk in the area, yearning to find its next victim. Number 1. The Panther of the Blue Mountains. In the west of Australia, very close to Sydney, there is a rocky paradise called the Blue Mountains, which dominates a long terrain full of vegetation, depressions, valleys, and forests that are painted blue by the intense color of the sky. Every year, dozens of people visit its routes, walk its areas, and discover an enchanting place that exudes peace until a strange creature began to prowl the surroundings. More than a dozen witnesses have encountered this beast. Some have been deeply wounded, others have even found the creature's lair, a deep, dark place filled with sheep carcasses, birds, and bones. Naturally, someone brought those animals there to be savagely devoured. But exactly who did it was the question many were asking until the first encounters with the Blue Mountain Panther occurred. In the face of multiple complaints, Chris Coffey, Ken Pullen, and Karen Dolan, 3 victims of panther attacks, teamed up with researchers Mike Williams and Ruby Lang in order to maintain a database of sightings throughout the Blue Mountains region and the Sydney Basin. It's been used extensively by the government of this country to probe into the unusual phenomena. Even the media have tried to get the story, but to date, there's still no real evidence of this creature. However, year after year, witnesses continue to report that a group of strange feline creatures prowl the woods, threatening to chase them at any moment or fall upon them to devour them. There is speculation that, if this story is true, animal could be a descendant of the beasts that escaped in the 1960s from the city circuses, where a large number of felines were housed and never found. Another theory suggests that these have been rumors spread by local groups to scare off tourists and marauders, as there are still a large number of hidden gold mines in the Blue Mountains. Whether fact or fiction, people are still wondering if the Blue Mountains Panther will one day appear to surprise all these skeptics. Ground Zero. Aquatic Panthers. The native peoples between the Great Lakes of Canada and the United States had an interesting shared mythological story that depicted an aquatic panther named Mishipeshu, which translates to the Great Lynx, and was popularly known for guarding large quantities of copper, something that makes perfect sense if you remember that the natives were mining copper from the lakes long before the colonizers arrived. This creature was generally described as having a feline-like head, much like a panther, but crowned with deer antlers. Its legs looked disproportionate to the body and had sharp claws. Its body was replete with dark scales, dagger-like spikes along its back, and a strong, thick tail. Generally, this creature was associated with the waters, as it was the protector of the lakes and their fortunes. Additionally, it was in charge of inflicting harsh punishments on those who dared to steal its treasures. Although this legend has faded with time, there are some testimonies that seem to indicate an encounter with a strange beast that fits the descriptions. One of them comes from a Jesuit missionary named Claude Dablon, who was accompanied by 4 Ojibwa Indians on a journey home. They were carrying copper in their canoes. It was a small amount taken from the lakes, just enough to be used for heating in their homes. They were all aware of the legends but chose to ignore them. That was their big mistake. As the current guided them through the water, a mighty roar from the depths suddenly emerged into the sky and left them petrified. The men didn't know what to do, nor will they know how to act when, an instant later, they spotted a wild, feline creature coming towards them. The men paddled restlessly, but they were swept into the depths of the waters one by one. All of them died, except for the famous Indian survivor who spread the story among the Jesuits in the village. But within a few weeks, he also perished. Was it the work of the aquatic panther? Many may not know the answer, but the natives didn't have a single doubt. It was the work of Mishipeshu. Like this one, there are many stories describing strange creatures. Not only panthers can be stealthy and deadly, especially when they talk about aquatic creatures with the most impressive teeth in the world. Would you like to know some of the creepiest cases that involve unknown creatures? Then check out these videos.